Silent observers, the void between stars held no secrets from Admiral Cathora's experienced eyes. She stood on the bridge of the Zephyrian flagship Dominator, watching the blue-green world slowly rotate on the main display. Her silver-scaled hands rested on the command console as she studied the readings from her scout ships. This was supposed to be routine. Another primitive world to add to the Empire's collection. "What do the scans show, Commander Vex?" she asked. Her second-in-command, a battle-scarred veteran whose loyalty had been proven across a dozen campaigns. Vex consulted his datapad, his reptilian features neutral. "The planet shows signs of basic civilization, Admiral. Large structures across the surface, but nothing that suggests advanced technology. The energy readings are consistent with primitive industrial processes. Agriculture, simple manufacturing, basic transportation networks." Cathara nodded slowly. The Zephyrian Empire had encountered hundreds of worlds like this, species that had barely mastered their own planet, let alone the stars. They would surrender quickly when faced with superior technology, or be easily conquered. If they chose resistance, either way, the outcome was always the same. "What about their military capabilities?" she inquired, though the question was merely procedural. The scans would have detected any serious threat. "Minimal, Admiral. No orbital defenses, no energy weapons, signatures, no shield generators. Their technology appears to be chemical-based, possibly early atomic. Nothing that could threaten even our oldest vessels." Lieutenant Zara, the youngest member of the bridge crew, looked up from her station. "Admiral, some of the energy patterns are unusual. The distribution doesn't match typical agricultural or civilian manufacturing." Kithora's golden eyes fixed on the lieutenant. Zara was new to the fleet, but she had shown promise in previous missions. "Elaborate." "The power grids are surprisingly robust for a primitive world, and there are underground networks we can't fully penetrate with our scans. It could be natural cave systems, but the patterns seem too regular." Commander Vex dismissed the concern with a wave of his clawed hand. "Underground storage, most likely. Primitive species often hide their food supplies and basic resources below ground. It's an evolutionary response to scarcity." Cathara considered this for a moment. The Empire had learned to be cautious, but overcaution had cost them opportunities before. This world was rich in resources, with a convenient location for establishing a forward base in this sector. The strategic value was too great to ignore. "Begin preparing the landing force," she ordered. "We'll establish contact with their leaders and offer them the standard terms. If they're wise, they'll accept integration into the Empire. If not..." She left the sentence unfinished. Everyone on the bridge knew what came next. Far below, on Earth's surface, in a facility that the Zephyrian scans had classified as an agricultural processing center, Dr. Sarah Chen stood before a wall of monitors, showing the alien fleet's position. The underground command center buzzed with quiet activity as technicians monitored the situation. "They're not scanning very deep," reported engineer Marcus Rivera, his fingers dancing across holographic displays. "Their sensors are advanced, but they're looking for what they expect to find. They see our surface installations and assume they understand our capabilities." Sarah nodded, her dark eyes reflecting the blue glow of the tactical displays. She had spent 15 years preparing for this moment, ever since the first long range. Sensors had detected the expanding Zephyrian Empire. Earth's governments had finally united when faced with an external threat, pooling their resources and knowledge to create something unprecedented. "How many of our facilities have they identified?" she asked. 17 of the surface installations," Marcus replied. They think they're looking at farms and factories. They have no idea what we're actually producing down here. The irony wasn't lost on Sarah. The Zephyrians were partially correct. Earth was indeed a factory world. But instead of producing food and simple goods, humanity had spent decades turning their planet into the most advanced weapons manufacturing facility in the galaxy. Every farm was a cover for underground production lines. Every factory was a front for research and development of military technology. "What's the status of the defensive grid?" Sarah inquired, moving to another console. "Fully operational," confirmed Captain Lisa Park, the military liaison. "All orbital platforms are online and hidden behind our stealth fields. The Zephyrians still can't see them. Ground-based installations are ready to activate on your command." Sarah watched the alien fleet on the main display. They were beautiful ships, sleek and powerful, representing technology that had conquered dozens of worlds. But the Zephyrians had made a critical error. They had assumed that a species confined to a single planet couldn't pose a threat to an interstellar empire. Dr. Chen called out a communications officer. "We're receiving a transmission from the alien fleet. They're requesting permission to land a diplomatic party." Sarah exchanged glances with her team. This was it, the moment they had prepared for. "Put it through." The main screen flickered, and Admiral Kathora's image appeared. The Zephyrian commander was imposing, with scales that seemed to shift color in the light and eyes that held the confidence of someone who had never faced a real challenge. "I am Admiral Cathora of the Zephyrian Empire," the alien commander began, her voice carrying the authority of someone used to being obeyed. "You are hereby notified that your world has been selected for integration into the Empire. We come in peace, offering you the benefits of our advanced civilization and protection under Imperial law." Sarah stepped forward, knowing that this conversation would be recorded and analyzed by both sides. "I am Dr. Sarah Chen, representing Earth's Defense Council. We appreciate your offer, Admiral. However, we must respectfully decline." Kithora's expression showed mild surprise. Most primitive species either cowered in fear or immediately accepted the Empire's terms. Open refusal was rare and usually brief. "I don't think you understand your situation, Dr. Chen. Your world has no defenses capable of resisting our forces. We have scanned your planet thoroughly. You possess no weapons that could threaten our ships, no technology that could stand against our military might. Surrender now, and your people will be treated well." Sarah smiled, an expression that didn't reach her eyes. "Admiral, I think you may have misunderstood something about our world. We would welcome the opportunity to discuss this matter further. Perhaps you would care to visit our surface. We have a facility prepared for diplomatic meetings." The Zephyrian Admiral studied Sarah's face, looking for signs of fear or deception. She found neither, only a calm confidence that was somehow more unsettling than panic would have been. "Very well," Cathora said finally. "We will send a diplomatic party to your coordinates. But understand, Dr. Chen, this is your final opportunity to reconsider. The Empire's patience is not infinite. Neither is ours, Admiral," Sarah replied quietly before ending the transmission. Marcus looked at her with concern. "Are you sure about this? We could activate the defenses now, hit them while they're not expecting it." Sarah shook her head. "No. They need to see what we're really capable of. The Empire has been expanding for centuries by overwhelming primitive worlds. They need to understand that Earth is different, that humanity is different." She turned to address the entire command. "Center. All stations, prepare for Protocol 7. The Zephyrians are coming down." and they're about to learn what happens when you mistake a weapons factory for a farm. Above them, the Zephyrian fleet began deploying its landing craft. Admiral Cathara watched the blue world grow larger on her screens, confident in her empire's superiority. The humans would learn their place soon enough, but in the depths of Earth's hidden facilities, thousands of manufacturing lines hummed to life. Weapons systems that had been dormant for decades began their startup sequences. Orbital platforms shed their stealth fields and powered up targeting systems. The factory world was awakening, and it was hungry. The Zephyrian Empire had conquered many worlds, but they had never encountered anything like what was waiting for them on Earth. They thought they were visiting a peaceful planet of farmers and simple manufacturers. Instead, they were about to discover that they had found the most dangerous weapons factory in the galaxy, and that factory was about to show them what human ingenuity could accomplish when survival was on the line. The factory awakens. The Zephyrian shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere like a silver teardrop, its hull gleaming in the morning sunlight. Admiral Cathara sat in the command chair, studying the landscape below through the viewports. Rolling green fields stretched to the horizon, dotted with what appeared to be agricultural installations and processing facilities. It looked exactly as their scans had indicated, a pastoral world of farmers and simple manufacturers. "Landing zone is clear, Admiral," reported the pilot. "No signs of hostile activity." Commander Vex checked his tactical display. Minimal energy. Signatures in the area. A few power lines. Basic communications. Nothing that suggests military presence. Cathara nodded with satisfaction. The humans were being sensible, it seemed. Perhaps this would be easier than expected. The shuttle touched down in a cleared area near what appeared to be a large agricultural complex. Through the viewports, she could see neat rows of buildings that looked like storage facilities and processing plants. "Maintain full scan sweeps," she ordered her security team. "But keep weapons powered down. We don't want to appear threatening to these primitives." As the shuttle's ramp lowered, Cathara stepped out onto Earth's surface for the first time. The air was clean and carried the scent of growing things. Birds sang in nearby trees. It was the picture of peace and prosperity, exactly what the Empire looked for in new agricultural worlds. Dr. Sarah Chen was waiting for them, flanked by a small group of humans in simple clothing. She smiled warmly as the Zephyrian delegation approached. "Welcome to Earth, Admiral Cathara," Sarah said. "We're honored by your visit. I hope you'll find our world as interesting as we do." Cathara studied the human leader. She was smaller than the Admiral had expected, with dark hair and intelligent eyes. There was something about her manner that suggested confidence, but surely that was just the bravado of someone trying to negotiate from a position of weakness. "Your world is pleasant, Dr. Chen," Cathara replied diplomatically. "The Empire would be pleased to help you develop its full potential. Your agricultural systems could feed dozens of worlds." Sarah's smile widened. "Oh, Admiral, you have no idea what we're capable of producing here. Would you like a tour? I think you'll find our facilities quite remarkable." Something in her tone made Commander Vex uneasy, but Cathara was curious. Understanding a world's capabilities was important for proper integration into the Empire. "Lead the way," the Admiral said. Sarah gestured toward the nearest building, a long, low structure that looked like a typical grain processing facility. "This is one of our newer installations. We've been working on some fascinating projects recently." As they walked, Cathara noticed that the human delegation seemed remarkably relaxed for people facing conquest by an interstellar empire. Either they didn't understand their situation, or they were hiding something. Her instincts, honed by years of military service, began to whisper warnings. "Dr. Chen," she said carefully, "I notice your people seem quite calm about our arrival. Are you not concerned about the implications of first contact?" Sarah paused at the building's entrance. "Oh, we've been expecting you for quite some time, Admiral. We've had long-range sensors tracking your empire's expansion for decades. We've been preparing." Before Cathara could ask what kind of preparation she meant, Sarah placed her hand on what appeared to be a simple access panel. The building began to change. The walls suddenly became transparent, revealing that the simple agricultural facility was actually a sophisticated military installation. Rows of sleek aircraft filled the interior, their surfaces gleaming with energy fields that hurt to look at directly. Weapon systems that defied Zephyrian understanding of physics rotated to track the alien visitors. "This is impossible," Commander Vex breathed, his hand moving instinctively toward his sidearm. "Actually," Sarah said conversationally, "this is just one of our smaller facilities. We have about 3,000 like it, scattered across the planet. Marcus." Engineer Marcus Rivera stepped forward, his casual demeanor replaced by professional efficiency. "Admiral, you're looking at the Earth Defense Force's primary atmospheric fighter production line. We can manufacture approximately 250 advanced combat aircraft per day from this facility alone." Kithra's golden eyes widened as she processed what she was seeing. The energy signatures they had detected weren't agricultural at all. They were military-grade power systems, hidden beneath stealth fields that their scans couldn't penetrate. "But our sensors, ... double quotes," she began, "saw exactly what we wanted them to see," Sarah finished. "We've been studying your technology for years, Admiral. We know how your scanners work, what signatures they look for. We designed our stealth systems specifically to fool Zephyrian sensors." The ground beneath their feet began to vibrate, and Cathara realized that this was just the beginning. All across the visible landscape, the peaceful agricultural buildings were transforming. Storage silos opened to reveal missile launchers. Processing plants unfolded into weapons manufacturing complexes. The pastoral farmland was revealed as an elaborate disguise covering the most advanced military-industrial complex the galaxy had ever seen. "You see," Admiral Sarah continued, "you were right about one thing. Earth is a factory world, but we don't make food or simple goods. We make weapons. We've been making weapons for 70 years, ever since we first detected your empire's expansion pattern." Commander Vex was frantically trying to contact their ship, but his communications were being jammed. "Admiral, we need to return to the shuttle immediately." But Sarah raised her hand, and the Zephyrian shuttle simply wasn't there anymore. Where it had been sitting moments before, there was only empty ground. "Your shuttle is safe," Sarah assured. "Then we've moved it to a secure location. We're not here to harm you, Admiral. We're here to talk. But first, you need to understand what you're really dealing with." Cathara felt her world shifting beneath her feet. The Empire had built its power on technological superiority, on the assumption that primitive worlds couldn't threaten advanced civilizations. But this world had been preparing for war for decades, hiding its true nature behind clever deceptions. "In the underground facilities you couldn't scan," Marcus continued, "we have production lines that can build starships. Not primitive chemical rockets, Admiral. Real starships, with weapons systems that your empire has never encountered. We've been very busy." Sarah gestured to the sky, where the Zephyrian fleet hung in orbit. Your ships are impressive, Admiral, but they're not prepared for what we can throw at them. We've been studying your technology, your tactics, your weaknesses. We know exactly how to fight you. As if summoned by her words, the sky began to change. What had appeared empty moments before was suddenly filled with Earth's defensive fleet. Hundreds of ships materialized as their stealth fields deactivated, surrounding the Zephyrian vessels. The aliens' supposedly superior technology was completely outmatched. This is what happens when you threaten a species that has spent its entire history fighting wars, Sarah said quietly. We didn't become peaceful when we reached the stars, Admiral. We became better at war. Kithra's mind raced, trying to process the implications. The Empire had encountered resistance before, but never like this. Never from a species that had deliberately hidden its capabilities until the moment of confrontation. What do you want? She asked finally. Sarah's expression softened slightly. We want to survive, Admiral. We want to be left alone to develop in peace. We don't want to conquer your empire, but we will defend ourselves if necessary. Your choice is simple. Withdraw and leave us alone, or face the consequences of attacking a world that has turned itself into a weapon. The Admiral looked around at the revealed military installations, the aircraft that hummed with barely contained energy, the weapons systems that tracked her every movement. In the distance, she could see more facilities activating, revealing the true scope of humanity's preparation for war. You could have destroyed our ships when we arrived, she said slowly. Why didn't you? Sarah smiled, and for the first time, Kithra saw something other than confidence in her eyes. She saw hope. Because destruction is easy, Admiral. Building something better is harder. We're hoping that your empire is wise enough to recognize when it's met its match. We're hoping that instead of another war, we can find a different path forward. Admiral Kithara stood in the middle of what she had thought was a peaceful farming world, surrounded by the most advanced military technology she had ever seen. Her empire had built its power on conquest, but these humans had built something else entirely. They had built the ultimate defense. The factory world had awakened, and it was offering the Zephyrian Empire a choice, peace or war. For the first time in her military career, Admiral Kithara wasn't sure which option would be better for her people. But she was very sure that humanity had just changed the balance of power in the galaxy forever.